Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Saracens Travels. In this episode, we sail from Bequia to Carriacou, and as you can see, I have a fleece on. So this means I'm back in Scotland. Enjoy, and please remember to leave a like. If the crew stops swinging around, we might be able to get going. We continue our journey south and we leave Bequia behind, heading for Union Island. And we pass by Moonhall. This is an eclectic group of houses built back in the 60s as part of a commune. We think some of the buildings now make up a holiday accommodation and some are ruins. We will never know, as it's private land and there's no rights to roam over here. We have some very strong easterly winds. This blows dust all the way from the Sahara Desert in Africa. This makes visibility very poor. And covers the boat in lots of brown dust.
We start fishing again, however the only thing hooked is some sargassum seaweed. And I have to admit that the pickings have been slim since the fisherman Graham left us.
There's 20 to 26 knots of wind from the east, which is constantly shifting, so we end up tweaking the sails for most of the day. And here it is again. We think the Ocean Cruising Club need to address the quality of their flags, as this one's only been up in the sky for 5 months and it's in tatters. I think we've mentioned this more than one occasion now. It's becoming a gripe now. And I polished the winches.
After a quick passage, we arrive in Chatham Bay anchorage. There's lots of wind in Chatham Bay, but it did look like a nice spot. The wind gusts down into the anchorage, and at times the gusts were really quite ferocious. This, and the fact that there's no secure place to lock up the dinghy, makes us decide not to go ashore, and instead we swim off the back of the boat.
We take the dinghy to dinghy round to look at the 5-star resort, Tenuta, Chatham Bay. This only has a few letting apartments, I think it's 4. However, as we are months behind with video creation, this resort is now no longer there. It was totally destroyed by Hurricane Beryl back in July.
After a few days, we move round the corner to Frigate Island. A developer moved in here in the 1980s to build a marina made from coral. He went bust and left the workings in an uncompleted state. He built the marina breakwater and this affected the water through the mangroves, and all of them died. Plans were put in place to breach the breakwater, and now it's great to see the mangroves are starting to re-establish themselves.
Where the breaches were made, these have been bridged, but they're in poor state of repair. As we intended to climb Frigate Island, we had to cross these bridges. We managed to get across the first one successfully, however as I crossed the second one, only to find that the suspension supports at the far end were all broken, so I made a hasty retreat. So we did a small walk around the mangroves instead.
While at Frigate Island, we were going to dinghy round to Clifton so as we could check out. We weren't sure if you could do this inside the reef, just using the dinghy. So we took the mothership Saracen round early in the morning as the swell was rolling into the anchorage that day.
In the afternoon, I drag Irene up the hill behind Clifton. This is the location of Fort Lookout, this being an old base from the colonial days. The views from the top are spectacular, and we can see a full 360 degrees of the surrounding Caribbean islands, from Bequia in the north to Grenada in the south. Well worth the effort in the hot heat.
Clifton has a really good dinghy dock, one of the best in the whole Caribbean, and the entrance is through a very small arch. This makes it a mini harbour for visitors' dinghies. The village again is very typical of the Caribbean. We make our way into the customs building and wait for the staff to appear. Very laid back here, and they eventually arrived at 9:15. They should have actually opened at 8:30. The anchorage at Clifton is very impressive. We are open to the Atlantic Ocean, with the fetch being some 2,600 miles away, and we are protected from the swells by the reef. This gives the kite surfers a good wind, whilst having really flat water. This guy gave an impressive display, often jumping 20 feet into the air. He must be really fit, as he did it non-stop, all day. As we've checked out, we leave early the next morning heading for Carriacou, this being part of the Grenada archipelago.
The blue yacht's towing in the pink yacht, and the pink one's called Pink Lady. However, this yacht was sunk in the mangroves in Tyrrell Bay after Hurricane Beryl. We generally try to eat out at least once a week, so the plan today was to walk over to Paradise Beach for a swim, have some lunch. Again, we were accompanied by Maurice and Jackie from Fiddler's Green. No, sorry, we accompanied them as they had organised the day.
We had lunch at the Paradise Beach Bar, which overlooks Sandy Island. Very beautiful and tranquil. A Caribbean dream spot, actually. However, as it wasn't a Wednesday, we didn't get the chance to paint a yacht name on the board for the wall.
After Beryl, this place was totally destroyed. The beach on Sandy Island is now no more.
Today was another hill climb day, so the four of us set off to climb Chapeau Hill. This was Carriacou's second highest hill, standing at 290 metres above sea level. We all wanted to see Tyrrell Bay from above. We don't have a drone yet. So it was a hot, sweaty climb to the top, and the last section was actually especially steep, necessitating some of us to use our bottoms on the way back down. Fiddler's Green is renowned for hosting fantastic music nights, with the only proviso that all attendees must join in. So after weeks of hinting at Maurice and Jackie, they hosted that night. The crew of Muirgin, Pete and Donna also joined in. So food and wine was consumed and the music started. Surprisingly, none of us had hangovers the following morning. We had a great night.
We walked 5 or 6 miles or so and finished the day off in a local bar for some beer and some delicious chicken wings. Oh, so we eat out twice a week now.
Every night, large tuna fish come into the outskirts of the anchorage to feed on the small fish. This drives the small fish to the surface, and then the birds have a field day. Andrew joins in, however he was unsuccessful in his endeavours. As ever, we keep saying that we're a bit of an anchor magnet. This Hans comes into the bay, drops his hook way too close to us, and then the crew disappear offshore.
All that area over there, you can reckon. All that area up there. And he's about a whole length off the front of me. Prick.
There are 2 layup yards in Tyrrell Bay, and when we were there, they were busy lifting and storing lots of boats. And again, after Beryl, there's not one yacht left that hasn't been sustained damage.
Yachts aren't allowed into the mangroves unless specifically using them to ride out storms. The technique apparently is to bury the bow of the boat into the mangroves and drop out 2 stern anchors from each aft quarter. The bow is then tied off into the mangroves. Apparently it's meant to be stormproof. However, in hindsight, after seeing the destruction that Hurricane Beryl did, we think not. The island is fuelled by a tanker which is piloted into the bay and tied off to 4 big mooring buoys. Then an umbilical pipe is taken ashore and connected to the tanks. Once complete, the tanker does a 360-degree turn and then it's off.
Towards the end of the month, Morris and Jackie head off to head for St David's on Grenada, as they are due to lift out the first week in June.
So we spend a few more days on the island, with the hurricane clock ticking as it's nearing the end of May. We now have to move down to Grenada, and we're looking forward to it. Whilst we know it's only a day sail away from safety, we decide to play it safe and comply with our insurance stipulations. So now we both have that end of holiday feeling. It's really quite strange.
Got to love the pilot boat and the steps for the pilot to come down on. Thanks for watching our video. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe to our channel. In our next episode, if we manage to make it, will be about Grenada. Saracen out. See you!